Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live broadcast, weekly broadcast. Today's theme and series is about Voices of the Tribe. So Voices of the Tribe, we invite monthly, once per month, somebody who's actually part of the tribe, who's part of our sacred containers and transformation programs, and who is generously wanting to be visible in this interview and who wants to show up in their voices. And this month, it's Courtney McCullough, right?
Yes.
And very happy. Just thanks for bearing with us. We were having a bit of technical problems, so we could not live stream. But this is a recording that we are posting for you. If you have questions or comments, just as when we are live, just post them underneath in the comment boxes, and we'll address them after. So no problem. You can tag either Courtney or myself, and we are in the group. So free flow with us into the unknown and the co-creation of what that is for today. So Courtney, welcome, and a huge thank you for coming and showing up. And let's start right away with sharing about your path and where you were before entering such a journey with us, and what was the calling in your heart? What was the prayer that you were putting out?
Well, before meeting you and working with you, I had just ended a career as a commercial actress. I did that for 7 years. And my goal with that was actually to be a film and television actress. And I had actually gotten some roles in films and television shows. And I thought like, wow, it's happening. And, life happens. And I was feeling really burnt out. It wasn't feeling like exactly the job that I wanted. And there were little things here and there letting me know that this isn't quite it. And then, what ultimately happened was I just prayed. I prayed for blockages to be released. And one thing led to another. And I ended up uncovering, a lot of things that I had endured as a young person that never even got looked at. And as I started healing and doing the work to really heal, it's like layer after layer was peeled away, that I ended up quitting my acting career. No commercials, no film, no television, no auditions. I changed my social scene. I enrolled in college because I hadn't gone to college after high school. So I wanted to study anthropology because I love traveling and I love culture and I love learning about humans and what makes the human a human, and that's anthropology. And as I continued peeling away these layers, what really became apparent to me, what really emerged to me was, what does my life look like when I'm not making choices from a wounded place? And the thing was, I had no idea. I was so lost. And over time, I was definitely somebody who thought that you could think your way through healing. And as I've come to work with you, I've learned that that's just one part of it.
Contemplating, yeah? Contemplating. And so tell us about what you have learned the most through the wisdom that you were able to tap into from your body or from your journey, because it's very important what you're sharing with people right now, that healing does not come from the mind, or it doesn't come because we choose from the mind that something needs to change, but it's a calling, and it's something that awakens inside, and something that we're addressing in the tissues, like literally in the body. So tell us what you have learned around this.
Well, the first thing I learned, and we talked about it, was I said, I feel like my hips are breathing. And you said they are. Yeah. And it's the truth. They really are. Prior to joining this journey, I worked out. I had been a dancer, a contemporary dancer. So I wasn't unfamiliar with my body. But the thing about working out and being a dancer is you're putting your body under a lot of stress in ways that are maybe not totally natural to how the body wants to express itself, especially if we're talking about classical ballet. That's just not human. And so since working with you, what I've learned about my body is that I have so many resources available to me just within myself. And it's not like my brain has to do all the work, because prior to getting really embodied, my brain was running the show. And
Mhm.
that's kind of a little bit of a disaster in and of itself when there's a lot of wounds and there's a lot of inauthenticity. You know, you're making choices from a very cerebral place. So being in my body has given me this awareness of, oh, there's so much more than my brain that I have at my disposal to make decisions. I can actually stop and feel into my body, ground, and really feel something so beautiful. Just feeling the way the sunlight feels against my skin is so different now than it was even just a year ago. I always felt it, I always loved it, but there's something different now where it's almost as if I can feel the sunlight touching my skin and like peeling things apart and like soothing it a little.
Mm-hmm.
So I
It
feel like it's
becomes
being more
medicine.
gentle. Yes,
Like,
being available to new medicine. That was always there.
yes. Yeah, and more subtle medicines. And it's like realizing how nature is always on our side. And that's, I love that you're sharing this, because I don't often share that aspect of the practice and this door that it opens, but it really opens us to the subtle worlds of
Hmm.
feeling and perceiving at such a deep level all the textures that are around us. You know, what is
Hmm.
the moon, what is the sun, what is the earth, and
Hmm.
the codes that come with this, and not only looking through the sight but receiving.
Yes.
And everything is in that word receiving. And share, by all means, share about your experience about receiving and how it has shifted you to be in a receptive mode rather than more analytical, or more
Hmm.
filtered from ideas, but being curious about what is every moment bringing to me. And that's where I see that you're more and more vibrating, opening yourself to.
I feel that that resonates with me. Something that recently has occurred to me on that vein is safety, security. I stand outside barefoot a lot. I'm on the grass a lot. And there's this beautiful sensation of feeling the earth rising to meet my feet rather than my weight pressing down on the earth. It's like, oh, no, 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 this is me. And then here's the earth rising to meet me. And just the feeling of that sensation, it brings in a feeling of security and stability that the mind couldn't even create. You couldn't think your way into that level of safety.
Yes. Yes, I can only say yes to this, right? And it's I'm yeah, it's great that you're sharing this with whoever's listening right now, because safety is not a concept. It's not something that we impose from the mind, but it's something that is our intrinsic nature when we allow ourselves to surrender, like in the natural current of things.
So I would
It's
say then that working with you has been like a peeling away of layers
Mhm.
that prohibited me from feeling into and tuning into this intrinsic safety that has always existed and will always exist and has always been there for me. It's
Yes.
just peeling away the layers that were blinding me from it. And now it's like, oh, how can I find more of this? And it's all in the body. It's
Hmm.
instant feedback.
Yes. And what has this given you access to? I know that there's safety, but now that you're feeling safer in your body, what else has this given you access to for your day to day, your confidence, your creativity, your direction, where you're going? Share a bit about what does, when one starts feeling safe inside their own temple, their own body on earth, what does it give them access to, or what did it give you access to go more personal?
More of an interplay between my masculine and feminine energies,
Mhm.
because something that I started doing with you that I hadn't really done before since being in school, basically. You know, because school is like, you know, you have somewhere to be at a certain time, but or work, you have somewhere to be at a certain time. But, you know, I have a lot of free time. 2020 was a big, let me clear your schedule. And one thing that really fell apart with a big, clear schedule was like not having a routine. And so I've really created a morning routine that just feels so good to my body, that really allows me to like step into my body and operate in a way that feels so good to me, to really be receptive to the earth, to my own energy, to let my dream state kind of work itself out as I'm waking up rather than just wake up, grab my phone, and then start getting inundated with outside world noise. So I would say this safety of creating a space, knowing that there is enough time to get done whatever I want to get done. In fact, there's even more time than I think there is. And I feel like that's definitely maybe allowing my masculine to step up a little and create a beautiful structure, because my masculine feels safe enough to even do that. And then that gives my feminine space to step in with a more creative flow structure, more receptive to creative inspiration, by acknowledging, oh, hey, it's pretty safe around here. Like there's some structure, I'm not wasting my time. Like, okay, this is good. This is good. And creatively, what's emerged is stories, short stories. I've always been a writer. Academically, I was always a very strong academic writer. And there's something really freeing about writing just for the sake of writing, not for academia, not to cite any sources. And I've really come to a place of, I love fiction writing. I love writing stories. I'm a very multidimensional person. So the stories that I'm currently writing are about my ancestors, real life ancestors. And it's like multidimensional love letters between them and me. And in order to even be in a place to create something like that, I have to be really receptive to so much around me on a really subtle level, as you say, to be able to even tell these stories of my aunts and uncles and grandparents and great grandparents.
So you're actually now creating a channel of healing, not only for you through your writing, because you're getting to peel off layers and clear some lineage stories, but you're also going to be sharing those stories with people eventually, like by sharing, which is also going to be a healing medium as they receive the codes behind your words.
I hope so. I feel like that's what's happening. I know that I heal myself when I sometimes reread what I write. I cry sometimes. I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful. And from a very detached place, not like, oh, I wrote this. No, more from a place of, wow, that is so profound. And the crazy thing is, or not crazy, it seems crazy, but it's like, I don't even remember thinking of what I wrote. It just comes out of me. They have, these classically trained pianists who just sit at a piano and they can close their eyes and play. That's kind of how it feels to me with writing. I don't have to sit here and think, okay, what word is going to come out next? No, it comes to me, but I have to be in a place to be receptive to that.
Yeah, reading the flow of creation. And it's when we get out of our own way, that's when our medicine starts coming in.
I like that. Yes.
Yes. And that's what's happening with you. And you made me think of humility actually when you were sharing, because we are a channel. You became a channel of this writing and those stories. And yes, it will have ripple effects, but it's not it's not like you're going to pursue this to have the impact, but impact will happen because it came from that safe place. It came from that sincere longing, sincere calling. It's not something that was forced. Your feminine was receiving the guidance. And that's what giving birth is about. Receiving a seed, and then you allow it to grow, and then you water it, and then it's not you, the baby is not you. It's just, okay, now the baby is serving just by its nature. So
absolutely.
I find it beautiful. I love that you're on top of those projects. I see you're writing, obviously, in the group that we share, the 6 months program that you're in. And it's like, I'm just really, I love reading your stories. They're filled with
thank you.
Depth and wisdom and, so much jewels. And, all, even principles of the invisible world are all in there. So I really, I really see that you're bringing together a lot of parts of yourself,
I feel that. Thank you. And I'm, happy to know that it resonates that way. And I would actually add to what you just said, pulling from the unseen. You've definitely helped me with that. I know we don't talk too much in the group about the woo things, the mystical, but I will say that I'm definitely a deeply spiritual, mystical person. For me, the greatest thing ever is the mystery, the ever unfolding mystery. Yes. I don't know what else to call it. It's the ever unfolding mystery. And I think definitely being on this journey with you, has taken me to a higher reality, multidimensionally. So that makes sense to who that makes sense to. I
Yes,
wish I could elaborate better.
I totally feel you. And, you know, Mysteries of Life is, yeah, it's in my heart. It has always been also. So we always land in the places that, you know, we're meant to land. So I got, yes. And I would love for you to actually share one of your stories if you want on the Facebook group, if you want at one point. Just really
Yeah,
feel
I do.
free
I
to.
write a travel blog, so I would love to share it. That's kind of what I'm doing in the meantime, what I share
Yeah,
publicly. I have, I travel often, not often recently because of obvious reasons, but when I
yeah.
was traveling a lot, I would have these really mystical, weird experiences that, when you look back on it, you're like, that was just so divinely designed
Yes,
to
totally.
notice.
What else are you up to, like in your projects and what you're giving birth to? I know you want to hold space for women, having sharing circles. Like what, by tapping like this again into your safety, into your more intrinsic power, do you realize, can you share with the audience, how the audience, whoever is listening, how it's making you more energy efficient?
Whew. Surrendering stories. There's a great quote that you said that has been echoed so many times. Presence is the absence of stories. So I would say, I got so present right now. Holy moly, what was the question? Time efficiency, not telling stories,
Energy efficiency,
energy
energy.
efficiency,
Yes, yes.
not not getting enmeshed, boundaries, caring, caring, but not carrying.
Yeah.
Caring, but not carrying. I host a women's circle once a month. I've been doing it for about a year on and off. I took a little bit of a break over the holidays. And a big lesson in energy efficiency has been caring, but not carrying.
It's so well said. And it's so, it's exactly this, you know, how to release ourselves from all the bounds that are not required anymore and not aligned with our deepest or highest calling, and recollecting the energy, reclaiming this power and cultivating it in our vessel, in our temple. So then it generates all this momentum and energy of creation, and that's it. And it reduces all the compensations. You want to speak a bit into compensations?
Compensations for.
Like for example, when there's a wound and we cover it up with a compensation, it can be food, it can be any type of relationship, but just how the human body sometimes tend to avoid looking in by actually going out and taking something in to cover something up. Yeah, I know you could explain this principle to people.
Definitely. I'm a very introspective person. So there comes a time where, and I meditate a lot. So I can be very perceptive to what patterns my brain likes to latch onto. And a lot of it is compensatory. And in so many ways, I don't have to get into it. So what I've learned about it is having a lot of compassion and curiosity, maybe even a little bit of humor and a lot of humility. Oh my gosh, so much humility. The way it hits me is I actually notice it in other people before I notice it in myself. Like I can look at somebody and be like, okay, why are they doing that? Oh, they're trying to compensate for this thing. And then the first thing I do is stop and go, okay, have I done that? The answer is usually yes. And then it's like, okay, and then that person's story is completely gone. Care, but don't carry. Okay, I care that's your story. I'm not carrying that with me. I'm back here to me. And it's really acknowledging like, okay, why am I okay? Being an actress, it's very compensatory for not feeling seen. And so, what are you when you're an actress? You're seen. But here's the irony of that: you're not seen as yourself. You're seen as the character on a piece of paper. Like I'm not Courtney showing up on camera. I'm Nicole, the computer hacker. What I auditioned for a lot of computer hackers, and ironically, we're like figuring out computers before starting this meeting. So something compensatory is like this fear of being seen as my authentic self. So it almost feels safer to show up as a character that someone wrote and then show up as her and receive this sort of like recognition or even love for that character, which has nothing to do with me in a career that has nothing to do with me. So I think that's kind of the biggest, most obvious thing. It's like, why did I choose acting? Why did I choose something that would make me so visible when really underneath it, I don't know who I am?
So powerful what you're sharing right now. Like, and I love the analogy with the character, and because it's so true. You know, the deep longing is to be seen. The deep longing is to see yourself and to recognize yourself as this authentic being. But life puts you in a situation where you have to be loved for some characters that you play, and it's we take life without being an actress, and this is how we operate.
Well,
Th-
and
those
to
are
add,
those
well,
are the layers of, yeah, and those are the layers of what's not true when we speak about the lies that we tell ourselves, or what's not true, or peeling off the layers of what's not true. That's what we're talking about. Peeling off the layers of characters. Go ahead, speak into it.
well,
You wanted to say something.
I would add the layer to that is, when you wear these masks publicly, there's also an element of you trying to craft other people's view of you. And that could also be compensatory for not being able to accept the mystery of, I don't know what people think about me, and even maybe compensating for the truth that, oh, maybe everyone's not going to love what I'm doing or even feel what I'm doing, and being okay with that. Because part of a lot of, wearing masks is also arranging how other people see you. Otherwise, you just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's a way to control, it's a way to protect, and it's intelligent. Sometimes, we don't really know that we're putting a mask sometimes. Yeah, and it's
I
a
would say that's
protection,
true.
and the body is intelligent, and there's so many reasons for this that, overall the nervous system is trying to protect, because the amount of light that we're designed to receive would literally burn us if we didn't
Wow.
have those resistances and those protections. It's like, again, an electric circuit. So the body is very, very intelligent. We are not judging compensations or personas or character, all of this.
No, there's
But
something beautiful about it.
it's required. It's intelligent. We have to really see. That's why authenticity is something that's so punctual. It's layer by layer. So it's layer by layer, and it's a journey. It's a journey. So
Absolutely.
the question I have for you is, like, if, like, again, if I know many women here on this Facebook group are on this journey, or want to be more on this journey, and they have the longing for this, but somehow something stops them. What would you tell them, before jumping, or like when they're at this like tipping point of like, okay, I want to do this, don't I want to do this, do I want to jump, is it too much? I receive a lot of fear from people saying it's not the time, or it's too much, it's not now, because they feel the potential that can happen through such a container. They feel the potential they can receive through such a container, which is their potential, right? But how would you speak to these women who are at this point?
I get it. So I
Yeah.
would say that. I would say I get it. And then to add to that, I would say on the other side of that, it's amazing. It's not really about the fear of the unknown. This is not my quote. This is Krishnamurti. It's not the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the known coming to an end.
Uh-huh.
And I have to say, speaking from my own experience, the known coming to an end, as terrifying as it has always been, what has emerged in its place has always been so much better. It has far surpassed anything that I ever could have imagined. So, with respect to the sacred womb space, I see presents right now, like gifts, like wrapping presents that you rip open. And I see like a stack of them, like under a Christmas tree. So that tells me that the program is a gift. And part of the gifts is learning within a group of women who are so extraordinary. And we're all so different. We're in different parts of the world doing different things. And just growing individually and collectively really has been so expansive to me of discovering what's even possible in every aspect. And that is so valuable. So the fear is normal. I get it. I would meet that fear with what's right behind it and what's going to take its place.
Thank you. Thanks. Is there something else you would love to share around your journey, around the jewels you have, the jewels of wisdom that you have received from your own body because you created space in it? Some words that are being channeled right now.
I would just say that I've learned to have so much more. I've developed more of a capacity to have compassion for myself and more acceptance towards myself. And that might be the greatest gift of all. You can't quantify that. You just can't quantify self-acceptance. But self-acceptance met with compassion. I have to say that this experience has also opened me up to a lot of creativity that I have zero professional aspirations for. And deep down, I think we get stuck in this place of creativity, or anything we do has to materialize somehow. We have to capitalize, it has to materialize. And I've learned that there's something really beautiful about creativity for creativity's sake. That is the divine feminine. That is the divine feminine's birthright, is to just create for creativity's sake. And I have to say that the sacred womb space has been such a beautiful space for me to dive more into creativity, not coming from a place of how can I turn this into a profession? No. It's more from a place of how can what is living within me emerge more clearly?
Exactly. The intuition that comes with all of this. Beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing, Courtney. It's really, really appreciated to have your presence and your gifts being transmitted through this this interview. And yeah, so like as a word of closure, so whoever is interested in knowing more about the Sacred Womb Space, which is actually our 6-month program, just drop us a line. You can put it in the comment. You can put your name, and then somebody from our tribe, our community, our team is going to contact you or myself. Just really, really feel free to ask any questions you have, or to Courtney. She's in the group too. So I'm wishing you all the best for your journey, for your week. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. Thanks again, Courtney, for showing up. And
Thank you.
Yes, you're so welcome. All right. So many blessings, everybody, and so much love, and yeah, so much joy of accompanying you through this path and being present all together in this group. All right. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.